Okay, so let me ask you guys about the specific thing. I wanted to ask you guys about something that recently Summit1g was complaining about, and this ties back to a larger conversation often touched on by Veritas, and that is Tarkov's netcode. And recently Summit1g was complaining specifically about Peeker's advantage. I know he put out a whole video about it, and I was just curious if you guys have ever experienced anything like that. But what he's complaining about is, let's say you're holding an angle. So you've got a rifle or something. You've got an angle literally held. Yeah. And let's say you're not moving. You're just holding the angle, okay? Like you know someone's going to be coming up into a lane that you have the angle on. And so somebody does, and they just peek out. Let's say there's a wall that you can't see behind, but they have to come through that area to get to you or whatever. So they peek their head out, right? And you have the opportunity, like you guys are both looking at each other, right? But in theory, because of the way that the servers work in Tarkov, they're client authoritative, it seems like, where they prefer, like, literally the server's waiting to hear from the client on where you're at in the game versus the server having all the information about where players are in the game. And if you guys want to learn more about that, just go check out the Veritas video. Maybe we can put out a more detailed video ourselves explaining that. But basically, it relies on the clients. And so when the guy peeks out and looks at you, from his point of view, he peeks out, you're already in position. And he's going to have like a certain amount of time to try to click on your head before you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're holding position. On your screen, though, on him peeking out, that has to be sent from his computer to the server and from the server to your computer, right? That takes time. So for your computer to register him actually peeking out on your screen, that's going to take time. So you're, in theory, going to have less time to click on his head than he has to click on yours because of this latency, right? Does that make sense? Is that explained well enough?
Yeah.
But his argument is that it's worse in Tarkov because of how it's client authoritative. Like, I don't think he knows specifically about it being client authoritative from what we can tell. But that seems to be what he's complaining about because he's saying that other games don't have the problem like this game does. And that just goes in hand with the desync. Like if you've ever died around a corner, like you peek your head out and peek back behind the corner and then you die. That's kind of similar. That's what it is.
That's what I was thinking about like the whole time we were talking about. Like sometimes it's a lot of the reverse. Like, oh, I was behind a wall and I got shot in the head still somehow. Just because I guess my game had not caught up to their game. They just decided that I was dead instead.
So you're seeing it the other way around, yeah.
I see that, and then where Peeker's advantage is really prevalent to me, at least, is on labs. Like all those doors with like little windows and stuff. I've seen it a lot right there. Like, I'm holding an angle. They peek and they can get me before. Normally I just blame myself for not being too quick on the trigger, but like sometimes I swear it's ridiculously quick.
And I guess this bodes a bigger question too, because we have you on the podcast, Seaglem. CDU and I could ask you: Did it ever feel like this in CS:GO? Is that how it feels when you peek a corner and stuff? Does it feel anything like that? Because I think that game is server authoritative. That's the difference to me. And whereas it's client with Tarkov. So what does it feel like when you peek around a corner? Does it feel the same? Like that desync factor?
I wouldn't say so. I'd say that CSGO is a lot crisper in a lot of like regards to that. If you have like really big lag or like ping up there, it can feel like that a lot of the time. But like a lot of the time, Peeker's advantage does not exist. If you're holding the angle like with an op or anything, normally if your aim is on, this person will die.
Yeah.
Unless
that's good information.
Because I'm just better.
Yeah. I've like personally seen some like pretty crazy stuff with like the client base shit. Like, for example, I was over in Woods and I was scrapping it up with like this squad of 2 or whatever on in Lumbermill. Yeah, I was up in Lumbermill and this guy threw a grenade like apparently right on me, like because he like came into the stream afterwards, talked to me, and he told me that like from his point of view, he threw a grenade and it was like right like on my feet, right, and then like it blows up. And then, like, apparently I then, like, teleport to, like, the top of the wood. But, like, the whole time I was just moving regularly on my game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was just, like, moving around. And then, like, I just went up on the wood pile and I, like, got him with a hip fire or whatever in the head, you know. And he was just, like, salty about it. But I mean, for good reason, bro. Like,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
you just explained it. I can literally tell you exactly what happened there. Is because I think I remember watching that you had your like graphic settings still set to the wrong thing because you just reinstalled, right? And so the game was lagging hard for you on your screen. Like the game was like there was stutters and stuff. So I'm sure that the server was waiting on a response from your computer. So on your computer, you're like moving around and stuff, right? And so you see it differently. You see the grenade blow up over there. The server's waiting on a response, but it defers to you. That's why I think it is client authoritative. Again, you guys can check out literally they talk about netcode a lot on the Veritas channel. You guys definitely check that out. We can do some more deep dives into it too. But it does seem client authoritative, and that's why. Like, if the server was the person to say where people were, it wouldn't look like that on his screen. Yeah. Like, you guys would be lagging out. Sure. But because it's waiting for your response of, like, where you are, it, like, just holds you in position, but you're not really there. Right, you are on top of the logs, so the server figures that out eventually, and that's why you don't die to that grenade.
Yeah. So, pro tip: crank your graphics settings, make yourself lag, and
it's hard to hit people who are desync. Like literally, if you're sniping and somebody's just chopped, like they just stand in place and then they keep running, and then they stand in place. Like it is really hard to hit those people.
It's not just keep running. It's like they burst forwards. It's like it looks like speed hacking or some shit. I've seen a scav do it whenever I still had the settings up.
It wouldn't look like that on server authoritative too. They on their screen they would see that they're lagging is how it works, and then on the server like they would just be standing in place in the game or something, but they wouldn't be like lagging out like that on your screen. That's what it's. But on your own screen, it doesn't seem like you're lagging, right? It's like literally the server what other people see. So I don't know. That's just that. We'll see if they ever start working on that. It's kind of like the baseline for the game code, I imagine. So that's gonna be tough for them to fix, but it is frustrating. So I did want to talk about it.